Welcome to the Derek Creason Show. This is episode 29. So today we are going to be talking AI news and all kinds of stuff on AI. And then we're also going to be talking about one of the latest books I've been reading. So we'll do the book plug segment. So as always, I welcome your feedback, your questions, your suggestions. Derek@DerekCreason.com is the email address. @DerekCreason on X, Instagram, YouTube, and Rumble. Be sure to go sign up for my newsletter on Substack. You can go to DerekCreason.com, and there's a little pop-up box right there that'll type up, and you can put in your email and get it, or you can just go to DerekCreason.substack.com. All right, recent life updates. So today is Friday, although this may not go out till Saturday, the 19th or 20th of September. So what have I been up to lately? You may have noticed here on the show, the scenes look a little different. So I recently did a computer project and changed OSs, and I'll talk more about that on another episode about home labbing and stuff. But I had to switch from Streamlabs over to OBS, and I had to rebuild all my scenes. And I thought, why not change it up? So we're going with this 80s retro pink techno vibe video games type stuff. So let me know what you think. If you like it, what's going on with that? What else have I been up to lately? I haven't put out anything in a long while. It's been about 3 months since I've done a podcast episode, and I actually just wrote about that yesterday and pushed that out on my Substack. So if you want to go read about that, I put a short article up about creative burnout and just having to take a break. So the end of summer was just crazy busy with my schedule and with kid stuff and school starting and appliances breaking, and I had no time for creative stuff, and it felt too much of like a task and took the fun out of it. So I took a break for a little while, and that is totally okay. That is what I have been up to lately. Let's go jump into the show. Computer nerdery. We are going to be talking about AI news and all kinds of stuff that's going on. What do we got coming up first? First one I want to talk about was this. Google embeds Gemini into Chrome. So it says Google just introduced new Gemini integration across its Chrome browser for all US desktop users, giving the platform new AI-powered capabilities for multi-tab contexts, and embedded AI mode, and more. So if you use Brave browser, Brave already had a little bit of AI in it, and there was some plugins and certain AIs out there that you could get that had browser tab awareness, and this is just kind of Google taking that next step and putting Gemini in their Chrome browser, and it's also going to allow it to see across all your tabs for context and probably work on better memory. So these AI things are just going to keep iterating along. Here's the actual whole article. So enhance your browsing with Gemini and Chrome to Windows and Mac users, blah, 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 blah. Agentic browsing assistance. In the coming months, we'll be introducing agentic capabilities to Gemini and Chrome. These will let Gemini and Chrome handle those tedious tasks and take so much of your time, like booking a haircut or ordering weekly groceries. You tell Gemini and Chrome what you want to get done, and it acts on web pages on your behalf while you focus on other things. It can be stopped at any time, so you're in control. So that'll be interesting. That's kind of the next big thing you'll see in AI agents, is them working on your behalf. You'll be able to tell your AI agent, hey, call the insurance company or the doctor's office and sit on hold and negotiate this appointment for me. Get an appointment scheduled for me with the dentist or something. And you won't have to do that. Your AI agent will be able to look at your calendar and talk and interact with the other person or other AI on the other end. And that's going to be pretty commonplace in the next year or two, I would imagine. What else can it do? Find web pages you previously visited, work with your favorite Google apps without changing tabs. Yeah, I use Gemini quite a bit. I actually use a lot of them quite a bit. And I'll show you guys here in a minute some of the cool things that I like to do with the AIs. But yeah, this is coming. It's just integrating more into the Google Chrome browser, and a lot of browsers are based on Google Chrome. So you're likely using it, even if you're using other browsers like Chromium or Brave or some of the other ones. But anyways, that's something new that's coming up and along the way. Another thing I wanted to show you guys is you'd be like, hey, where do you get all this AI news that you're always talking about? Well, there's actually a lot of different places, and I'm going to show you two. So I want to say one of the things you can do is sign up for an AI newsletter like this one that comes to your email. And this is just one that I subscribe to called the Rundown AI. And it sends me an email every day or every other day and just has like some stories. So that's where I got this one, the Google embedding Gemini into Chrome. This one is talking about Zap Connect. I don't know. This was an interesting story. AI designs first working virus genomes. They did it faster and better than the scientists. And so the science and all that kind of stuff is going to go crazy over the next 10 years as well with AI. So kind of super interesting, kind of super scary. We'll see how it all plays out. But yeah, it talks about all different kinds of stuff, and then usually has a section here where it talks about some new creative AI that'll help make videos or music or whatever for you. It'll have a section down here about training AI tools, Notion agent. So I use the free version of Notion, but Notion has some built-in AI that you can upgrade and use, do all kinds of stuff. Talks about DeepSeek publishing a new paper about this. The Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei said he now believes there's a 25% chance things go really, really bad with AI development leading to disaster. So that's a common thought out there with the AI. So we're going to be able to do lots of cool stuff, but there's also the possibility that it'll be like every movie we ever made in the 80s and 90s and 2000s about the computers taking over and wanting to kill us all. That will be fun times. Another thing you can do is don't sign up for 4, 5, 6 newsletters, even though you're like, oh, this one's cool, this one's cool. You're going to end up with so much crap in your email inbox that you'll be more stressed about deleting emails or reading them. Just pick one and follow them. Also, if you go on to X on my profile, you can follow, I have an AI list, and I've got 10 things I follow on there. And so if I go to edit list, manage members, I got the Sammer AI, Ron Raham, and these are just people I found. Here's the Rundown AI. That's the account that posts about that newsletter. Just some people I found that post a lot about AI. And some of them are automated posts and stuff, but usually following those 10, or they'll link to and retweet other AI things, and can usually find enough AI news and things to subscribe to, free and paid, to get news about what's going on in the AI world. The other cool thing I wanted to talk about in the AI news is this unsupervised learning. Daniel Miessler, I probably pronounced his name wrong. This guy is really cool and really smart. I've talked about him before on my podcast, and I read a lot of his stuff. And he has a big, long article on his website about building his own personal AI assistant, and he's got probably an hour-long YouTube video about it as well. And it's just really cool. And this is eventually, so he's building his own thing, but eventually this is what all the Geminis and the Alexas and the Siris are all going to try to get to. But he's building his for things that he needs and does, and he builds it very modularly and can add and take away things to it. And he has some pretty cool and pretty neat ideas about what he calls humans 3.0, and about how work is going to change and how AI is going to do things for us, and just how it kind of all connects together with APIs and agents and stuff. It's just some really neat stuff. I think I've posted on X about some of it before. If you're into AI or thinking about what is a possible way that some of this stuff could happen, his ideas are pretty well thought out and pretty probable about if they could actually happen in the future and stuff. And he's learning and designing and growing with it along the way too. He has a very strong IT background and AI background, and is kind of very similar to my own. I do IT security as well, and he pivoted to AI probably 10 years ago. And I'm starting to realize and think that I use AI more and more every day, and it's only going to help me with IT security. I already use it in some of my products at my work. And I think to stay relevant as jobs dwindle and possibly get taken away by AI in the future, that knowing AI and being able to use AI and being an expert in AI is only going to help you be employable and stuff. I think I'm slowly going to continue to pivot into AI because I'm in IT security and IT sysadmin, all that kind of stuff. You have to keep learning every day. Stuff I learned in 2008 isn't as applicable. I did cloud stuff from 2013 to 2020, and now some of that isn't as applicable, and things just change along the way. You pass an AWS cert in 2018, and then 2 or 3 years later, the cert is completely different and not as applicable or whatever. So that's what I like about IT. It's constantly changing, constantly challenging you in your mind and stuff. But yeah, this is really cool stuff here. So go check it out. I'll just play a quick preview of it.
We're doing. All right. So that's the next piece here. What is a personal AI infrastructure? To me, it's an umbrella of everything we're going to talk about today. It is the single unified system. I've basically been building this system for a couple of years now. And it is a unified system that has multiple components all built inside of it. And it's a modular system, right? So you can add pieces, you can subtract pieces, you could upgrade pieces, and it makes the system overall better. And that is what we're going to talk about today. Another cool image from Kai. Thank you, Kai. All right, so the larger context here that we're talking about, that this all fits into, this personal AI infrastructure fits in.
So yeah, there's a little preview kind of what he's talking about in this video. That book right there, he's talking about the real Internet of Things. He's got that posted for free on his website. It's about a 25-minute read or so. It's pretty interesting and stuff. Go check that out. One of the other things I was going to show you was just some of the ways that I used AI. So like, here's Gemini. I use it a lot, and you can see these are all chat histories, and they just go back and back and back and back and back. And they're just, oh, here I was asking a work question about Azure AD and how this type of group and what's the syntax for this. A lot quicker than trying to go Google, then read through Microsoft forums and do whatever. Here I was researching if I could add a VPN stuff into my Roku TV, or if I'd have to do it in my router or some other kind of infrastructure. Recently switched my OS back to Arch Linux, and so as I was doing that, anytime I ran into a question, or like I set up my webcam and it was defaulting to 320 by 240 resolution instead of 1080, and I was like, why is it doing this? And it was like, you're missing this package and you need to put this configuration in. And I was like, oh, cool, perfect. So it saved me a ton of time. So that was pretty cool. It helps find videos and stuff. One of the other things I thought was pretty cool, I gave AI this prompt the other day. Where did it go? I was using it to help me redefine some of my podcast strategy. Oh, I wrote, what all can you assess about the person named Derek Creason by the content he puts out on derekcreason.com and any publicly accessible social media, podcast videos, etc. that you can find from his site or from relevant searches? Can you build a profile of him? Take your time, no rush. And so here I went and found some images. This is the other Derek Creason, lives in North Carolina. I don't know much about him other than once in a blue moon I get an email that he's supposed to get, and he probably gets some that I'm supposed to get. But it says, hey, Derek Creason works in IT. He puts out content. Here's some of his credentials. He likes to do this kind of creating. Here's the links where we found all this stuff. Here's the topics he likes to cover. He's very casual, conversational, often reflective, et cetera, et cetera. Just kind of talks about this. And then it also said, hey, you know, if you want to make your podcast more niche, you could do this. Or if you want to change your strategy, you could do this. And then I went and put that same prompt into Claude and Perplexity and Gemini, and just kind of gave, like, what did all the different AIs, what did they say about me and stuff? It was just pretty interesting, just kind of a fun exercise to see what all can it dig up on you, how accurate is it. I thought this was kind of funny overall. So Derek appears to be a well-rounded individual who balances professional expertise, military service, family life, and creative pursuits. He presents as someone who values traditional American ideals, personal responsibility, and authentic self-expression. His content suggests someone who thinks deeply about life issues and genuinely wants to help others, particularly young adults navigating major life decisions. Just kind of funny and kind of interesting to see, what does it think about you? How are you classified? I promise you that HR places are going to be using this with their hiring tools. Besides just, hey, you submitted a resume, they're also going to be like having whatever tool they subscribe to say, go check this resume against what we can find in public on him, you know, via the AI tool. And it's going to come back and be like, hey, this person has been fired 17 times, you know, or he posts hate speech on Twitter, you know, so you kind of have to curate your digital self-image and reputation the same way you do as in how you deal with people in person, you know, because it's going to be able to identify and classify you quicker and easier than people can. And people are going to use those tools to help them make decisions about, you know, should I hire this person? Will they be a good consultant? Are they honest? You know, are they going to be a used car salesman and try to rip me off? So that's just kind of some of the things that are coming along. I can't find my history in Perplexity. Other things you can do with AI that are kind of cool, if you want to, if you've never heard of Hugging Face. Hugging Face is where you can go get open source copies of a lot of the models, and you can build your own local AI models and run them. And so you can download tools and not have to be like online and not use ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot. And you just go to YouTube and type "build your own AI with Hugging Face." And it's all kinds of videos. How to build your own AI in 5 minutes. What is Hugging Face and how to use it. Run thousands of free AI models locally. And so there's all kinds of AI models, and there's big LLMs. There's ones for image to text generation, image generation, all kinds of, people don't realize that all kinds of different models do different things. And then it's the actual stitching all those kind of different models together into bigger models and what they can do. And so you really have to program them and tell them to actually do what you want. And then the really big ones and really good ones have had a lot of really smart people building them and putting them all together. And those are just some of the cool things that are going on with AI. There's some new ones. Looks like they're posting some new financial advisors. Yeah, I think financial advisors will probably move to AI. Obviously, all kinds of memes and jokes get made on AI, and you'll see those all over TikTok and Instagram and Reels and all that kind of stuff, and YouTube. Lots of silly stuff, lots of dumb stuff, lots of negative stuff, but also lots of positive and cool stuff as well. That is what we are going to talk about for today for all of the AI stuff. Let's move on to books. All right, book club. So I like to read books. I actually just finished a book, and it was an audio book, but that's not the one I was going to talk about. But I did just finish Matthew Perry's autobiography from Friends, and that was really interesting and a little sad, just not having personally had to work through or know somebody with a very deep addiction like he struggled with, and having to go to rehab so many times and stuff like that. So, but anyways, the book I wanted to talk about was this one, Building a Non-Anxious Life by Dr. John Delony. I recently discovered him, probably a month or two ago. He does a podcast. He's one of Dave Ramsey's personalities. He does his own show. He's on the Ramsey Show sometimes. And he's just a mental health professional guy. And he just seems very down to earth and relatable. I really like his style when I listen to him. He has a call-in show and talks to people for 15, 20 minutes at a time. And it's just really cool how he can talk to people and just kind of dig through their surface level arguments or their surface level discussions, like, hey, this is what I'm feeling or what I'm upset about. And he's able to just kind of peel back those layers real quick and be like, well, what about this? Or how are you actually feeling this? And they're just like, oh, I never thought about it like that. This book is kind of all about anxiety, and that's something that most people, most parents deal with if you're in your 30s or 40s, like me. And so I'm about halfway through it. I'm on chapter 4 of 10. And so far, I really like it. Just kind of saying, hey, this is what anxiety is. This is what it's not. His big thing is anxiety is just like the alarm bells, the smoke alarm in your house. They're going off. It's trying to get your body, getting you to pay attention. And the more you ignore them, the louder and bigger they get. And so it's just saying, hey, we need to address what these alarms are setting off and why are they setting off, and address them and work through that stuff. So far, really good book. I like it. I like his podcast. Go check it out. And that is going to be what I have to say for book club today. All right, that is going to do it for today. So you may have noticed, or may have, if you read my creative burnout post, I talked about I'm going to try some new strategies. I spent some time revamping my templates, and I'm going to try to get back to doing a weekly podcast for the rest of the fall. We'll see how that goes. But mostly, I'm going to try to do once a week, and I'm going to try to do a main topic or main dish, and that's going to be anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes long, 5 to 25 minutes long. And then I'm going to do a second or side dish. So you get your main dish and your side dish. So your main dish today was AI news and stuff, and side dish was book club. And so we'll try to keep it to 2 things every episode, and we'll rotate them. And so forgot what I got coming up next week on the schedule. I believe it was probably movies and something else. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. So tentatively, the next episode is going to be movies and faith, or movies and army life. So we will rotate the small segments and the big segments, and we'll figure out what we like and what we don't like. And so let me know. We'll see how it does. Let me know what you think about the new design of the podcast background, and we will keep moving forward from there. Let me know what you think. Do you like it? You don't like it? Send me your feedback. Derek@derekcreason.com is the email address. There it is right there on the screen. At Derek Creason on X, Instagram, YouTube, and Rumble if you want to connect with me on the socials. And then also, while you're online, go to Amazon.com. Check out my book, 20-something, Surviving the 10 Most Important Years of Your Life. Very cool book. I wrote it. I'm very proud of it. Go check it out. You can get it for paperback or on Kindle. Or if you're in the Kindle Unlimited program, you can read it for free. That is going to do it for the show. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and follow on all your platforms. Share it to your heart's content. I will see you guys on the next episode. Later.